Alright guys, my name is MetaGoblin and today I'm going to be giving you my TBC classic leveling guide for the warrior. This video will cover a number of essential sections to speed up your leveling time, such as top 10 leveling tips, optimal talents, optimal playstyle for kill time and efficiency, the gear and stats that you need to focus on, and lastly we'll talk a little bit about classic WoW gear that you should be keeping. I will also have a little cheeky surprise guest that you can look forward to later in the video, but just before we jump in guys, please give me a quick sub if you want to see more warrior guides coming very soon. Right, so my first tip is, unfortunately warriors are the worst when it comes to sustainability, so what I'd recommend doing is making as many bandages as humanly possible in preparation for TBC leveling, and obviously you do not want that inventory space taken up, so what you can do is just mail a load of bandages to yourself. Then whenever you're back into a town or a village you can pick those bandages back up. Secondly, you want to be blood raging between pulls. Now blood rage doesn't keep you in combat like it does in classic, but it will still maintain your rage between pulls when you are out of combat. When it comes to using charge, you only want to use charge on 0 rage, and then while you're charging you want to swap into berserker stance during the charge, so that the second you get into combat you are in berserker stance. We'll talk more about why you need to stick in berserker stance later on, but long story short, it generates a lot more rage. Should be building rage on critters between pulls. You know, you're always trying to maintain your rage. Your rage really is your fuel as a warrior, so if you see a critter here and there, just melee it, keep your rage up while you're running to different enemies. Whenever you have to stop to eat, you can actually now use blood rage and then start eating because you're not put into combat when you use blood rage. You want to start using start attack macros to get tags. You know, when the game launches it's going to be difficult for you to get all the mob tags, so make a start attack macro and spam it in a location where you know a mob spawns, could be a named mob or anything like that, to get the tag before anyone else. You can also pull rage for tagging with a whirlwind, because obviously whirlwind will tag multiple mobs, so you can very easily attack a mob that somebody else has tagged just to get a bit of rage up, and then use that whirlwind to tag a new spawned enemy. Remember to use Intimidate and Shout to save your life. You will get in a number of situations where you kill an enemy, well you get close to killing an enemy, then it runs away in fear, then it will pull more enemies back to you. You know, a bit like Murlocs. There's a lot of mobs like that in Outland, so save Intimidate and Shout to use it and then run away. When you combine the items, the carrot on a stick, the mithril spurs and the riding skill glove enchant, you increase your total mount speed to 218%, which is only 2% behind Crusader Aura. You can also use the add-on auto carrot to automatically equip all those items and de-equip those items whenever you mount or demount. My last tip, because warrior does suffer when it comes to sustainability, you have to stop and eat and bandage a lot. I would actually recommend, if you have a friend who's a healer, to just simply level with a healer. Just make sure if it's a priest that they're not using power word shield on you, because that will stop you from generating rage. But anyway, yeah, I definitely recommend leveling with a healer, because if healing isn't an object for a warrior, they can just destroy Outland with all of their insane cleave damage. Now let's talk about the talents, but I'm actually not going to talk about the talents. I'm going to hand you over to my very special guest, the Warrior Oracle of TBC Classic, Warrior TSW. If you want to see more of his content, you can check him out on YouTube and on Twitch, which I will leave in the description of this video. But anyway, let me hand it over to TSW.
Hi MetaGoblin, thank you for having me. My name's TSW, and MetaGoblin DM'd me on Discord asking if I could help him with a warrior leveling build for TBC Classic. So this is what I would do. I would jump into Cruelty for 5% crit. Obviously crit is really nice, you want to get that. You can go 5 out of 5 Booming Voice if you want, so your battle shout will last twice as long, like 50% as long, and the range will be nice if you're in group with anybody. You can also jump for a couple of points into Demo Shout, just to have the mobs hit a little bit less. It depends on how many mobs you want to kill at the same time, if you're going for a cleaving build or not. But let's go for a pure damage build, because I think that's what most people are interested in. So we now unlock the 3rd tier. You want to go 5 out of 5 Commanding Presence, just again to get as much attack power on your battle shout. We're doing lots of damage in this build. Enrage again is 25% more damage when you take a crit. This is really nice. If you're used to just being a damage in your raid, and you're not tanking anything, you're probably not going to get many enraged procs, or you shouldn't if the tanks are doing their job. But whilst leveling, if you're leveling on your own, you're going to be taking the hits, you're going to be getting crit from time to time, and because of this talent, you're going to be doing 25% more damage for 12 seconds. Really big damage talent here. We've unlocked the next tree now, so let's keep going down, and we'll come back to these ones later. Weapon Mastery reduces your chance for your attacks to be dodged by 2%, which might not sound like a lot, but in a simulator, if you want to sim your damage, it does actually increase your damage by quite a bit. And for the odd mob out there which will disarm you, it will half that disarm duration, as well as if there are any other warriors or rogues that are going to disarm you in the world. This is kind of nice to have. We also have Sweeping Strikes. Now, Sweeping Strikes is a really good ability. And what you want to do is, let's say that you're starting, you've just logged on, you kill one pack of mobs, and you've got a bit of rage spare. You don't necessarily want to just heroic execute and kill the target and lose all your rage. You can keep a little bit of rage, obviously 30 or more to use the Sweeping Strikes, and you can go to your second group of mobs. Hopefully it's a group of mobs, so you can use Sweeping Strikes and your attacks will go onto the other targets as well, which is really nice. So you kind of have one pack where you're building your rage and killing them, and the second pack afterwards where you're spending your rage on Sweeping Strikes and doing big damage to multiple mobs. Really nice talent. If you get Sweeping Strikes and you're not used to getting it, because Sweeping Strikes and Death Wish swap places from which talent tree they're in from Classic, you need to get into the habit of using Sweeping Strikes. It's such a good ability, but it's only as good as you using it, so be mindful you need to keep using it. Maybe play about with it in the pre-patch when we get that before TBC launches. And then pushing on again, we're going to be dual wielding, so we're going to be buffing a little bit of dual wield spec, 2 out of 5, and we've unlocked, oh, what's this? The next tier of abilities we can get. Flurry is such a good talent. It increases your damage, your attack speed by 25% for 3 swings after you crit. So these two big ticket talents are absolute must-haves. These are such big damage for you. Really, really good. Next we have Bloodthirst. Woohoo! So we've got our big ability that does a lot of damage, and you basically obviously want to be using this on cooldown. And this can be as far as we go. So let's start building up the others. We're at the stage where it requires only level 40, so we're still good. Let's correct this a bit. So we've got more talent points left. We're going to go all the way to level 60, of course. We're going to use Improved Heroic Strike, reducing the cost of Heroic Strike by 3. A bit of Deflection, just because Improved Rend isn't very good. And then we can go for Iron Will, just in case we encounter any kind of PvP. We're not going to be using Improved Thunderclap, because we just want to kill the targets quicker. The quicker that you can kill the targets, the less time they're attacking you, and the more health bar you have remaining. If you're taking another 5-10 seconds killing a pack of mobs, that's 5 or 10 more seconds of the mobs attacking you. We want to kill them and not lose HP. So we're still level 50, we've got 10 talent points left. Deep Wounds, obviously, does damage when you crit. Lovely, lovely. We've got Improved Overpower and Anger Management. Anger Management is just a little bit of extra free rage for 1 talent point. It's quite cheap. And then Improved Overpower. I know that we're reducing our chance to dodge with Weapon Mastery, but when we do eventually get a dodge, if you're low rage, you can just swap into Battle Stance and get an Overpower in, and hopefully it crits. And that's unlocked us to get Impale. So this is 20% more damage on every crit that we deal, which is a big, big damage bonus. So we've got 3 more talent points. We can just go 1, 2, 3. Or we can take these out, and if you happen to have not very good classic gear, you can go 1, 2, 3 into Precision to boost your hit rating. So if you're running with like really good Nax gear, you might have 11 or 12% hit rating. You do not need Precision, because you have so much hit from your really good vanilla gear. But if you don't have really good vanilla gear, you can make up for it by Precision. It doesn't really matter, but it just means that you won't be getting dual wield specialization, which will increase obviously your offhand damage. So it's up to you as to which, or it's up to your gear really. It's not up to you, but you have the choice ultimately if you want to go Precision or dual wield specialization. So for me, I'll go for dual wield specialization. And look, I'm level 60 with this build. Nice. So what I can do is, if I'm wanting to dungeon level, you can still dual wield to an extent in TBC Classic, and you could go for Tactical Mastery. And actually what Tactical Mastery does is it not only retains rage when you change stance, but also greatly increases the threat of your Bloodthirst in this case. That's what we care about. But if you're not going to be doing any tanking, let's get rid of that. And we're going to go or because I have a bit of Nax gear, get some dual wield specialization, and we're level 60. Nice. And then as we level up, we're going to go 1 point into improved whirlwind, so we can whirlwind really nicely as part of our rotation, get some bloodthirsts and squeeze in a whirlwind before the bloodthirst is coming off cooldown. And then we're going to go 5 out of 5 improved berserk stance. This is a really, as soon as you unlock the ability to get improved berserk stance, get 5 out of 5. The attack power is really good, and then you can get rampage as well. Make sure you are actually using rampage. The same that I said about sweeping strikes applies to rampage. You need to get a weak aura or something to track to make sure you have rampage up. You need to use rampage if you're speccing into rampage. So we've got 3 more talent points left, and because our hit percentage gear has been converted to hit rating gear in classic TBC, as we level up, that amount of hit from our gear gets less and less and less. So at some point we're going to be wanting more hit, and quite conveniently we have 3 more talent points left. 1, 2, 3. This is your level 70 Fury build, and you can also use it as your level 70 raiding build. I'd just like to say thank you for MetaGoblin for having me on his video, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed this clip. Bye.
The last thing to add when it comes to talents, because I know somebody's going to mention it in the comment section, is that you can take 1 point out of commanding presence to put it into piercing how if you want to take advantage of the utility of that talent. And if you are leveling with a healer, or you just have really big balls, you can take points out of commanding presence to put into improved cleave if you're going for some insane cleave playstyle. But with that kind of playstyle, it will be difficult to, well, maintain your health. You're going to be stopping to eat a little bit too much to the point where it might affect your leveling speed. But if you have a healer, that obviously isn't an object. But anyway, let's move on. So let's talk about the playstyle. The philosophy of the playstyle is, first of all, building rage on a single mob, and then when you've got loads of rage, burning that rage on abilities like sweeping strikes and cleave when you're dealing with your second pull, which will have 2 mobs. So you're cycling between pulling 1 mob and then pulling 2 mobs. For a little bit of extra efficiency, you can attempt to do 3 mobs, but just bear in mind that you will take a lot of damage. But what you're trying to do as a warrior is kill mobs so incredibly fast that they, well, don't deal damage to you. If you feel confident dealing with more than 2 enemies, then, you know, by all means, go for it. So let me tell you a little bit about the ability priority. So the first priority is Bloodthirst. This is the first ability that you should be popping the second you get into combat as the highest priority, and the second it also comes back off cooldown. It's mainly for the healing, but also for the damage. Secondly, you want to go straight into Whirlwind, whether you're doing single target or AoE damage, doesn't really matter. And then after that, the priority is either Cleave if you're dealing with 2 enemies or more, or Heroic Strike if you're just dealing with 1 enemy. Now that is the basic ability priority, but obviously there's a lot more abilities that a warrior can take advantage of when it comes to their micromanagement. So first of all, what you want to start to get into the habit of is, after you've dealt with a mob, whether it's, you know, single mob or 2 mobs, you want to start pooling a little bit of rage, okay, for the next pull, so you can open the next pull with a decent amount of rage to burn some cheeky damage. And this is mainly for the sweeping strikes ability. So, you know, imagine you pull 1 mob, you get loads of rage, and then you go to kill 2 enemies at once and you pop sweeping strikes the second you go into combat, even before you use Bloodthirst, because the damage that you get from sweeping strikes is pretty ridiculous. You'll have absolutely no issue dealing with 2 enemies at once. They will just melt in front of your face. Like, sometimes you'll get very lucky with crits and everything, you won't even see their health bar drop down, it'll go down that quick. Other things to bear in mind, obviously you can use Blood Rage between pulls to maintain your rage, kill a critter here and there like we mentioned before. Always be keeping up Battle Shout because you definitely need that attack power buff. Only charge when you have like 0 rage, because otherwise you're going to be wasting rage. And then, you know, second you charge, swap back into Berserker stance. You can use Intercept as well, but I only recommend using it if you're trying to get a mob tag from somebody else, because you don't really want to waste a rage on it. And then obviously only use Heroic Strike on a single target, and only use Execute if you know it's the last enemy you're going to kill for a while, because again you want to be pooling rage. If it's the last quest, you know, the last mob kill for that particular quest that you're doing, then yeah, use an Execute, you may as well, because you're going to run back to the town anyway. But if you're, you know, it's the second one along in out of 6, then yeah, you want to be pooling rage rather than burning it all on Execute, particularly if you have sweeping strikes available. Now let's talk about the gear and stats that you want to prioritize. So first we're going to prioritize on getting new improved hit gear, because your hit gear from Classic WoW, the value of the hit chance it's going to give you is going to get worse and worse as you level up, so you need to start thinking about getting better hit gear. This also goes for expertise gear. You want to get to, as close as you can to the expertise cap before you start jumping into raids, because it provides a really big DPS increase. And then after that it is crit, and then armor penetration. And obviously if you're going to roll tank, then you need to be mindful of your pre-raid best in slot pieces as a tank, because they could actually be rewarded from random quest rewards in the higher level zones like Neverstorm and Shadowmoon Valley. Now let's talk about some classic WoW gear. So the life-giving gem is actually better than some of the tanking trinkets that you're going to get from TBC, so I definitely recommend keeping that. Tier 3 Dreadnought, if you actually pay attention to the stats of Tier 3 Dreadnought gear when it switches from, patch 1.12 to 2.0, it actually gets buffed, right? You actually get more armor on your Dreadnought gear randomly, so I definitely think that warrior tank should be considering keeping their Dreadnought gear for TBC raiding. You've also got tanking trinkets like Styline's Impending Scarab, which is very nice. You've also got tier 2.5, which increases your Thunderclap damage, which will be probably quite useful for clearing dungeons while leveling up and even at level 70. And apart from that, if you are going to roll arms or fury when you are at level 70, I definitely recommend keeping a lot of your DPS cooldown trinkets, because it may be difficult for you to actually obtain improvements in TBC dungeons and quests and things like that. Anyway guys, that is the end of the video there. If you want to see more warrior videos and other TBC related videos coming very soon on this channel, then definitely consider subscribing, as that obviously helps out a lot. Anyway, my name is MetaGoblin. To my next video, ciao.